Hey guys, welcome to the debut episode of the Real Appreciation Podcast. I'm your host, David Clair-Bennett, and today I have a very special guest on the show. He's not just one of the top wrestling podcasters out there today, but one of the first. A guy whose work I've personally admired for years. Please welcome the commentator, the commissioner for House of Glory, your co-host of Tuesday Night Titans, and of course, the host of the legendary Solomonster Sounds Off podcast, Jason Solomon. Jason, what's going on?
Not much, David. Thank you for inviting me on. This is very cool.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. That's quite the introduction too. I have to thank you for that.
I had to put you over there. You know I had to.
Well, that's okay.
Well, it seems like every time I open up YouTube, you are on this incredible streak, and I don't know how you do it, of going live. You're covering Raw, AEW, SmackDown, some type of wrestling show. And I always ask myself, how do you sleep, Jason?
I don't. I don't. That's really what it boils down to. Nah, I mean it's tough because these shows are very late. You know, ideally it would be a little earlier in the evening, but you don't really have control over that. Content follows what airs on TV. So my schedule tends to be very late. One of the good things is even with what I do, during the day, I'm able to work from home.
Right.
It would be a lot more difficult if it was 5 years ago when I was waking up at 6 a.m. and commuting, and I just wouldn't be able to do what I do. So it's a blessing and a curse at the same time that I can pull it off.
Yeah, I always remembered when you did PR work, right?
I do. I still do.
Okay, you still do it? I remember on the old episodes, you would have to get up for work really early, and you were still doing this, and I was just mind blown.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't like it is now, where there's so much content and there's so much to digest just in general in wrestling. And I'm going live now more than I ever have before, a minimum 3 times a week. It could be 4, it could be 5. So I don't think it would logistically be possible. I don't think physically it would be possible to sustain that kind of schedule as late as these things go. So because of like I said, the ability to not have to wake up as early in the morning on most days, some days are like that, and you adjust. I don't complain about it. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do, but it can be exhausting.
Well, I want to switch gears here and focus on your time so far with the House of Glory promotion. How did that come about for you?
Well, it came about 6 years ago in August. There was an opportunity to come in, not to do commentary. It was really something that they were trying as far as a pre-show, for one of their big events. And a friend of mine who I actually co-host TNT with on Tuesdays, JD from New York, he was doing commentary for House of Glory, and he put a word in and said, "Hey, is this something you would like to come in and do? We have this idea." I said, "Sure." And that's how it really started. It was a little pre-show thing before High Intensity, back in 2018. I stuck around for the show, and one of the people who worked for Hog at the time came up to me during the show and said, "Hey, would you want to do commentary for a match?" Now, they already had their commentary team, but I said, "Of course. What am I going to say? No?"
Right.
And it just so happened there was an Impact World title match that night that was going on with the champion from what is now TNA. And I sat in on commentary. I was one of 4. That was my first kind of foray into that. And, from there, it just kind of went. I was invited back from time to time. Once there was an opening that developed later on, it was an opportunity for me to, do more, see how I liked it, see if I had an aptitude for it. They liked my work. And they must, because here we are, 6 years later.
Speaking of Tuesday Night Titans, which is every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. live with JD from NY206, we know, like you just said, you guys have a lot of history together through House of Glory, but can you take the time to tell everyone here what Tuesday Night Titans is all about?
Yeah, so it was a show that JD started with another co-host, Andrew Baydala, last year. And it was basically just meant to be a debate and discussion show about pro wrestling. And, sometimes they would have divergent opinions Sometimes they would have similar opinions, but they would come at it from a different angle. And it was meant to be something in the vein of a Mike and the Mad Dog, is
Mhm.
I guess the analogy I would use. And they had a good thing going. Andrew had other opportunities. He had reasons that he had to leave. And so JD came to me and said, "Hey, is this something that you would be interested in doing? Before I go to anybody else, I wanted to see if you would be interested." And I thought about it because, again, there's a lot of work as it is week to
Yeah.
week for me. But I thought it would be fun and it would be, a good chance for us to work together outside of what we do in Hog, which is fun and very cool on its own. And that's how it came about. It's similar to Hog in a way where there was an opportunity that opened up, and my name came up. People thought of me. Uh, I gave it a shot. I said, "Sure, it sounds like fun." If it's something that doesn't sound fun to me, then I'm not interested,
Yeah.
because I have enough on my plate as it is. And I think, burnout is a very real thing, and nobody should be doing stuff that makes them miserable. So I said, "Yeah, I think
100%.
this could be fun. Let's give it a shot." And so far, people seem to be enjoying it.
And as we wind down here, I want to take the time to focus on something that means a lot to me, and I'm sure many of us listening to the show, which is gratitude. I'm very grateful to be alive and be able to make this happen with you today. And what are some of the things that you're grateful for, and what does gratitude mean to you?
I mean, there's a lot that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for um, the opportunities that I've had just to do, what I do in whether it's my career, whether it's the podcasting stuff, and that people have gravitated towards it. It's very hard to build an audience, and I'm
Mhm.
sure because you've also created content yourself. It's hard to build an audience and keep people invested and interested in what you do long enough. Like I have people that have been listening to me for 15, 16 years, which, yeah, I mean, it blows my mind, and it's very gratifying that people, keep coming back and they show their support in various ways. So I'm grateful every day for the support that people have shown me, because without that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And I enjoy what I do. And I think, gratitude is just, it's, paying it back in some ways. I think, again, if people have certain expectations of me, I want to make sure that I'm giving it back to them what they're giving to me, and if not, that would upset me. I'm grateful for, my friends and my family. And I, in my own personal life, have, experienced loss before. I know how that feels. I'm grateful for, my health, because I've had people in my family who unfortunately had a lot of health struggles, and I saw what that was like, for them to go through. So, when I wake up every day, even if it's a bad day, I'm just grateful that, for the most part, my health is good, and I'm able to go about my day doing the things that I enjoy doing. And I mentioned before being able to work from home and being able to work for myself in many ways. You can't put a price tag on that. So that to me, when I wake up every day, is what I'm grateful for more than anything else.
That was beautifully said, Jason. Thank you for telling us that. All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to Jason on YouTube at the Solomonster, and be sure to check out Tuesday Night Titans every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't miss Jason at House of Glory's Puerto Rican Weekend Show. I love that pun. On Saturday, June 8th at the NYC Arena. Tickets available now at hogwrestling.net. That's HOGwrestling.net. Thanks so much, Jason, for coming on. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you, and best of luck with the new endeavor.